The night hasn't completely faded yet. The sky is slowly shifting from deep black into a dark, quiet blue. Far in the east, behind the snow-covered peaks, a faint golden light begins to creep upward, almost shyly. The air here is so thin that every breath feels deliberate, almost like a conscious decision. If you were standing here, just a few steps would make your chest burn, your heart pound faster, and your head spin slightly. But in that very same moment, a local herder, wrapped in thick woolen clothes, calmly unties his yaks. His breathing is steady. His movements show no sign of panic. For him, this air isn't an enemy. It's home. This is the Tibetan Plateau. 12, 13, even 14,000 feet above sea level. Up here, oxygen is nearly 40% lower than it is in the lowlands. The cold doesn't simply chill, it bites. The sun feels strangely close, yet every breath feels far away. And still, for thousands of years, people have lived here. Not just survived, but truly thrived. Slowly, a question begins to rise. What? How? Why does a traveler who comes from the low plains become sick within just 2 days? His blood thickening, headaches forming, nausea creeping in, breath becoming short and shallow, while a Tibetan child runs across the same altitude laughing, playing, breathing easily as if all of this were perfectly normal. The answer to that difference is not found only in culture and not simply in habit. The answer lies deep inside the body, inside the cells, hidden in the delicate strands of DNA, in a gene called EPS1. Imagine a newborn baby. In a small village near Lhasa, early in the morning, when the snow outside the window glows softly in the pale light of dawn. His mother is exhausted but peaceful and relieved. The baby takes his very first breath in the same thin air that would leave an outsider gasping within hours. But inside this baby's body, there is a tiny difference. A small genetic change that allows his blood to react differently. His body doesn't panic and produce excessive hemoglobin when oxygen runs low. His heart doesn't race wildly. His cells continue to function efficiently even when oxygen is scarce. That difference is EPS1, a gene that tells the body how to behave when oxygen levels fall. Most humans, when they travel to high altitudes, respond to the lack of oxygen by producing more hemoglobin. At first glance, that sounds helpful. But too much hemoglobin makes the blood thick. The heart works harder. The risks of stroke increase, complications appear, pregnancies become more dangerous. Yet among Tibetans, a specific version of EPS1 keeps that response balanced. The blood doesn't grow dangerously thick. The body stays calm. And here is where the story becomes even more fascinating. When scientists studied the EPS1 gene in Tibetans, they noticed something unusual. This particular version was almost absent in most modern humans around the world. It was rare, extremely rare. But when researchers compared it with DNA taken from an ancient human group discovered in a cave in Siberia, the result was astonishing. The similarity was almost perfect, as if time itself had carefully preserved a genetic signature. Those ancient humans are known as the Denisovans. Thousands of years ago, when Homo sapiens were leaving Africa and moving into Asia, they were not alone. Other human groups already lived across those lands. Neanderthals, Denisovans, and perhaps others whose names we still don't know. Their encounters were not always conflict. Sometimes there was connection. Sometimes families formed. Children were born. And through those children, genes quietly traveled from one human group to another. Imagine an ancient scene. A bitter wind blowing across a high mountain pass. A small camp resting between rugged slopes. Two different human groups meet there. Their languages are different. Their customs unfamiliar. But their bodies are similar enough. Perhaps there was fear. Perhaps curiosity. And over time some bonds formed. Children were born. Within their DNA, the stories of two worlds merged together. The Denisovans may have been the older residents of these high, harsh landscapes. They were already adapted to the mountains, to the rocky valleys, to the thin, unforgiving air. Over countless generations, their bodies had developed changes necessary for survival here. EPS1 was one of those changes. When they mixed with Homo sapiens, this gene traveled with them. At first, it may have been nothing more than a quiet passenger. If someone carrying that gene lived in lower regions, it neither helped nor harmed them. But when their descendants returned to the high mountains, that quiet passenger suddenly became a gift. Picture a woman 25,000 years ago, pregnant on this very plateau. The oxygen is thin. The cold relentless. Food uncertain. Pregnancy in such conditions could be dangerous. If blood becomes too thick, complications grow severe. But if her body carries that balanced version of EPS1, the risk lessens. Her child is more likely to survive. Her family continues. Her lineage moves forward. Natural selection works silently. It makes no dramatic announcements. It simply allows useful traits to spread slowly through generations. Over centuries, over thousands of years, that Denisovan version of EPS1 became common among Tibetans. Today, when a young Tibetan stands on a high mountain pass and takes a deep breath, he is not living only his own story. Inside him echoes the memory of an ancient meeting. This is not just biology. It is also something deeply emotional. We often imagine human history as a straight line, one group replacing another. But EPS1 tells a softer, more complex story. We are not pure lines. We are mixtures. We are continuations of one another's stories. Think of a modern mountaineer arriving from Europe. He reaches base camp and spends days acclimatizing, slowly climbing higher, then descending again. His body struggles, headaches, exhaustion, shortness of breath. He carries oxygen tanks to survive the ascent. Yet at the foot of that same mountain, a local herder moves through daily life without any artificial support. The difference is not only training. It is written in the genes. When scientists finally sequenced this gene, the discovery felt almost cinematic. In a quiet laboratory, long strings of letters appeared across a computer screen. A, T, C, G. Within those letters, a pattern emerged that nearly matched the DNA from that ancient cave. Two distant ages suddenly touching in a single moment. This discovery was more than a medical explanation. When the first rays of the dim sun spread over the towering mountains of Tibet, a silent life awakens on the earth below. The high-altitude air, which makes breathing difficult for most humans, tells a very different story for the women here. For thousands of years, these people have survived in one of the harshest environments on Earth, and their bodies have adjusted in mysterious ways. Every breath, every heartbeat, every beginning of life carries a tiny genetic script, telling us that human history is not just about our own journey but also a combination of the influences of our ancient companions. This is the moment when we begin to understand the impact of Denisovan genes, especially those that appear in the lives of pregnant women and the survival of generations. The first scene is set in a Tibetan valley, where between towering mountains, white snow, and green grass, a woman is experiencing the most delicate moments of her life. She repeatedly struggles with dehydration, strong winds, and rocky terrain, all while trying to protect the life of her child. Normally, pregnancy at such high altitudes is considered risky because low oxygen levels increase dangers during pregnancy, often resulting in fetal death. But here these risks are remarkably low. Her body is naturally prepared for this high-altitude environment, and her healthy pregnancy and the child's survival are proof that she is not an ordinary human but carries a genetic legacy preserved over hundreds of generations. This is the intersection where science meets story. Biologists have found that certain genes in Tibetan women, particularly those associated with reproductive and sexual health, closely resemble Denisovan DNA. These genes help provide better oxygen delivery to the womb, maintain healthy blood flow, and reduce complications during pregnancy. A typical human trying to live on a high mountain would repeatedly face failure and complications. But these women, whose bodies carry these genetic markers, remarkably preserve their generations. Here, every child born is, in essence, a living memorial, narrating the story of ancient human experiences and interbreeding. For instance, a study of the Tibetan female population found that the rates of repeated pregnancy loss were far lower than in other high-altitude populations. This was not luck or just environmental adaptation. It was a genetic stamp of human adaptability inherited from the Denisovans. Those small DNA segments, echoes of human experiences millions of years old, remain active today, saving the lives of women in this harsh environment. A local midwife explained, "Our generations have always lived with the mountains and children are born without harm. This is not ordinary, it is the miracle of our bodies, an ancient gift." Now, widen the view. Imagine this small valley, where the daylight glows like molten metal and at night the moonlight shimmers over the snow, embracing human life for thousands of years. Here, every breath is a challenge, every heartbeat a miracle, a living testament to human evolution. Without the Denisovan influence, survival here would have been nearly impossible. pregnancies might not have been successful and generations would not have continued. This genetic trait is what makes the difference between life and survival, reminding us that human evolution was never a solitary journey. We have always been connected with our ancient companions. Their experiences, their physiological responses, and their genes still live within us today. In another scene, we see how recent research strengthens this reality. Scientists, using advanced environmental DNA and genetic sequencing tools, are tracing these tiny gene segments that tell us humans preserved not just their own but other human species' experiences within themselves. When a Tibetan woman gives birth and the child arrives healthy, it is a small victory, not just for the individual but for human history. These small genetic markers, inherited from the Denisovans, maintain a historical continuity, showing us how complex and fascinating human adaptation can be. Here comes a gentle, heart-touching moment. A mother cradles her child to her chest as the sun rises over the mountain peaks in the soft morning mist. We realize that every breath, every heartbeat of this child carries a branch of a genetic story that spans thousands of years. This emotional reflection teaches us that human life is not merely existence but a long genetic narrative alive within us, explaining that human adaptation, reproduction, and survival are a continuous, interconnected journey, not only shaped by the environment but also profoundly influenced by our ancient companions. When the soft light of morning spreads over the icy mountains of the Siberian valleys, every snowflake seems to dance in its hidden microscopic patterns. The air is so cold that each breath becomes visible, and the silent grandeur of the landscape makes a human feel the fragility of their own presence. Here, survival in extreme cold is not merely a question of strength or bravery, it is the result of biological adaptation, a hidden story created thousands of years ago by the Denisovans in their own lives. Now, imagine shifting the scene to dense tropical forests, where layers of green canopy stretch in every direction, and the humidity blends with the earthy smell of the ground. The rustle of insects, the flight of birds, and the constant murmur of small streams engage every sense. Here too, the same hidden genetic inheritance is at work, the one that was vital for human survival in the cold Siberian valleys. This environmental resilience, initially evolved for extreme conditions, now proves equally powerful in tropical heat and humidity. Picture a hunter navigating the jungle, hunting and gathering for their tribe. Every step challenges them, the damp soil, unexpected obstacles, and dense foliage, but they move effortlessly. Their stamina, energy use, and oxygen management system are optimized by the hidden magic of Denisovan genes. Each breath, each heartbeat, reflects an intricate network where survival wisdom from extinct species has merged into modern human biology. Here's a real-life example. Researchers analyzing Siberian indigenous populations and Amazonian tribes discovered DNA fragments that regulate hemoglobin production, oxygen transport, and adaptation to cold or heat. In extreme survival scenarios, long hunting expeditions or harsh trekking conditions, these traits protect humans from ordinary fatigue and give them the ability to withstand environmental stress. An emotional reflection. Observing all this, we must appreciate the hidden resilience within humans. Every breath, every heartbeat carries an ancient legacy. This inheritance doesn't just allow us to survive, it connects us to the challenges of nature. We are not merely present, we are part of an evolutionary continuum where the life experiences of extinct humans are encoded within us, granting us the ability to thrive in extreme cold and heat. And as this cinematic journey comes to a close, the soft light and gentle mist on the horizon remind us that this story is only one chapter ending. It naturally leads us to the next supporting point, neutral traits becoming advantageous, where we will explore how genes that were neutral at low altitudes became critical adaptive traits in extreme environments, shaping the journey of human survival. Subtle sunlight slowly creeps over the jagged peaks of the Andes, painting the snow with a gentle golden hue. The wind whispers through the valleys, carrying the crisp scent of pine and earth, a reminder of how unforgiving yet life-sustaining these high-altitude environments can be. Far below, a group of villagers moves with effortless grace, their every motion in harmony with the rhythm of the land. To an observer from lower elevations, their ease might seem miraculous. Yet deep within their DNA lies a silent story of adaptation, a story of genes that were once neutral, unnoticed, and inconsequential in the calm lowlands, but here, in the thin, oxygen-sparse air, they have become indispensable for survival. Imagine a newborn swaddled against the cold, taking its first breaths in an environment where oxygen is scarce. Its tiny lungs expand steadily, its heart beats robustly, guided by genetic traits that lay dormant for centuries, waiting for the precise conditions to awaken their potential. These traits, once neutral and irrelevant to ancestors at sea level, have now become vital adaptive mechanisms. Hemoglobin regulation, oxygen transport efficiency, and metabolic flexibility are not just random perks of evolution. They are a legacy of patient genetic preparation, poised to emerge when life demands it most. Consider the populations of the Tibetan Plateau. Genetic studies reveal that alleles once neutral at lower elevations suddenly become life-preserving at high altitudes. These formerly dormant genes optimize oxygen delivery to tissues, prevent chronic mountain sickness, and allow humans to maintain both cognitive and physical functions where others would falter. It is not magic, it is evolution's quiet wisdom, showing how latent genetic potential can pivot from inconsequential to essential under environmental stress. Visualize hunters moving through Siberian valleys during the frostbitten dawn, tracking prey across icy terrain. Every step, every breath, is buffered by adaptations embedded in their DNA, adaptations that were irrelevant in the warmer, oxygen-rich lowlands where their ancestors once roamed. They possess resilience sculpted by invisible genetic threads, fine-tuned over millennia. This is not just survival, it is thriving in conditions that would overwhelm the unprepared body. Here, neutral traits have become survival tools, transforming human limitation into mastery of extreme landscapes. Analysis reveals the profound elegance of this mechanism. Evolution does not always rely on sudden new mutations. Sometimes, it waits, storing possibilities in neutral genetic variations, ready to activate when environmental pressures shift. The beauty lies in the subtlety. Genes that once seemed irrelevant can suddenly provide crucial advantages, enabling humans to inhabit regions once thought inhospitable. Every heartbeat, every careful breath in these extreme altitudes, echoes the hidden power of these once neutral genes. As we reflect on this, consider the quiet marvel unfolding in every human adaptation story. Generations ago, these genetic potentials slumbered, unnoticed and unremarkable, awaiting the exact challenges that would make them indispensable. Today, whether in the sharp air of high peaks or the humid embrace of tropical valleys, humans carry a legacy of resilience, silent, patient, yet powerful. Each adaptation, each survival advantage, is a testament to the foresight written into our genome by natural selection over millennia. And as the golden light of dawn spreads across peaks, illuminating frost and foliage alike, the story does not end here. These neutral traits, awakened by extreme environments, seamlessly lead us to the next chapter of human evolution, cultural and genetic exchange. Here, interbreeding allowed adaptive traits to cross species boundaries, accelerating human adaptation without the need for entirely new mutations. The forest canopy shivers in the morning breeze, sunlight filtering through emerald leaves, casting dancing patterns on the soft, moss-laden floor. Deep within this living cathedral, a quiet, almost invisible thread of life reveals its most intricate secret, the story of interwoven destinies, carried not only by survival but by shared inheritance. Imagine humans navigating these dense forests thousands of years ago, every step deliberate, every breath precious in an environment brimming with both challenge and opportunity. These humans were not alone in their journey. Hidden within their genomes were whispers of another species, the Denisovans, whose DNA had mingled subtly with theirs, bringing new capacities unseen yet transformative. Consider a mother carrying her child across a steep Himalayan pass. Her lungs expand steadily, her heartbeat strong, her body resilient under pressures that would overwhelm those without these inherited traits. These abilities were not born from sudden mutation but inherited from distant relatives, a gift embedded in her genome through interbreeding. This transfer of adaptive traits across species boundaries allowed humans to leap forward in survival, almost as if nature had lent them a head start, bypassing the long wait for entirely new genetic variations. In Siberia, beneath the cold, unforgiving sky, humans walking beside reindeer herds possessed subtle advantages encoded from generations of Denisovan ancestry. Blood oxygen efficiency, metabolic balance, and resistance to environmental stress were quietly enhanced, enabling them to hunt, gather, and sustain communities in a world demanding both ingenuity and resilience. These interspecies exchanges became bridges, linking survival strategies of one species to another, accelerating adaptation far beyond what isolated evolution could achieve. Now imagine archaeologists discovering ancient bones, fragments of stone tools lying alongside. In these remnants are traces of genetic intermingling, DNA sequences telling stories not only of human ingenuity but of shared history that transcends species boundaries. Survival was rarely a solitary endeavor. Adaptation in many ways was collaborative, a silent cooperation written in nucleotides, where beneficial traits passed from one lineage to another, crafting humans capable of enduring what would otherwise be impossible. Analysis reveals the elegance of this evolutionary strategy. Nature did not need entirely new mutations to equip humans for extreme environments. Instead, it leveraged existing genetic diversity across species, a quiet, efficient system of adaptation. Every trait inherited: enhanced oxygen utilization, better thermoregulation, improved iron metabolism, represents a historical dialogue between species, allowing humanity to occupy valleys, plateaus, and forests with resilience that would have been unimaginable without this genetic crosstalk. Reflection brings wonder. The realization that our ancestors' survival was shaped not only by their own evolution but by subtle DNA exchanges with distant relatives deepens our understanding of human history. It is a story of connection, shared struggle, and invisible threads tying life together across time and space. Just as rivers carve valleys over centuries, genetic exchanges sculpted human capacity, often silently but with profound impact. As shadows lengthen and twilight drapes the landscape in soft hues, this chapter of adaptation gently closes. Yet the narrative continues, flowing seamlessly into the next realm: other physiological adaptations. Here, Denisovan DNA extends its influence further, affecting nitric oxide pathways, blood vessel function, iron metabolism, and possibly even lung development, providing humans with an extraordinary toolkit to endure extreme conditions. The story does not end. It simply turns, guiding us deeper into the subtle, astonishing orchestration of survival encoded within our very genes. The sun rises slowly over the jagged peaks of the Himalayas, casting a golden glow over snow-dusted valleys and the serene rivers winding through them. In the quiet of early morning, one can almost feel the subtle rhythms of life adjusting to extremes. Here, every inhaled breath is a negotiation with thin air, every heartbeat a testament to resilience. Within the bodies of those who have inhabited these peaks for generations lies a hidden story, one written not in books, but in the strands of DNA carried silently from one ancestor to the next. Denisovan DNA, once a distant inheritance, now pulses in rhythm with human survival, influencing the pathways that control nitric oxide, modulate blood vessel function, optimize iron metabolism, and possibly even shape the development of lungs capable of thriving where oxygen is scarce. Imagine a young shepherd leading his flock along a steep mountain trail. The wind is crisp, the altitude high, yet his steps are steady, his lungs expand with relative ease, his endurance seemingly effortless. This is not mere chance. It is the legacy of adaptations encoded across millennia, allowing humans to endure environments that would overwhelm those without these ancestral gifts. Every physiological adjustment, from vasodilation in response to lower oxygen levels to the efficient transport of iron in the blood, represents a delicate orchestration of inherited traits that improve survival in extreme conditions. Travel now to the humid tropics of Southeast Asia, where dense forests challenge every aspect of human physiology. Here too, Denisovan ancestry leaves its subtle mark. Even in warmer, more oxygen-rich environments, enhanced blood vessel function and optimized metabolic pathways contribute to resilience against heat stress, infection, and physical exertion over uneven terrain. These adaptations are not dramatic mutations visible to the eye but silent, potent modifications that allow humans to navigate diverse environments without the debilitating effects that others might face. Consider historical communities navigating highlands and tropical regions simultaneously, maintaining food security, trade, and cultural cohesion despite harsh climates. Anthropologists examining skeletal remains find evidence of enhanced lung capacity and cardiovascular efficiency. Biochemists trace these traits to inherited gene variants, including Denisovan sequences, showing a remarkable continuity between ancient survival strategies and modern physiological performance. These are not merely survival tools, they are evolutionary insurance policies, quietly ensuring that human populations could flourish wherever they migrated. From a scientific perspective, these adaptations highlight the elegance of interspecies genetic exchange. By affecting nitric oxide pathways, Denisovan DNA improved vasodilation and oxygen delivery throughout the body, mitigating the stress of extreme altitudes and physical exertion. Adjustments in iron metabolism reduced susceptibility to anemia, supporting sustained activity and reproductive success. Possible influences on lung development may have provided subtle but significant advantages in respiratory efficiency, contributing to the broader resilience of human populations across varying environments. Reflection brings a profound appreciation for the interconnectedness of life. Every physiological trait shaped by Denisovan inheritance demonstrates that human survival is a layered story, one of cooperation, adaptation, and hidden innovation. We walk landscapes, climb peaks, and navigate forests not only with our own ingenuity but with ancestral guidance encoded in our genes. The more we uncover, the more it becomes clear that survival is not just about immediate response to challenges, but the accumulation of centuries of adaptive insight carried within us. As evening drapes the Himalayas in violet shadows and tropical forests hum with life, this chapter of physiological adaptation gently concludes. Yet the story continues, flowing naturally into the next revelation: wide geographic influence. Denisovan ancestry is not limited to a single environment. It stretches across continents, from the highest peaks of the Himalayas to the lush expanses of Southeast Asia and into Oceania. Here, the legacy of adaptive genes demonstrates a remarkable breadth of influence, suggesting that the resilience endowed by interbreeding with Denisovans is both profound and geographically widespread. The narrative softly transitions, inviting exploration of how these genes shaped human populations across diverse landscapes, setting the stage for the next chapter in this extraordinary evolutionary journey. Dawn spreads gently over the misty ridges of the Himalayas, painting the peaks in delicate hues of pink and gold. As the sun rises, it illuminates valleys where life persists in delicate balance, where the air is thin and every breath is a negotiation with the environment. In these remote highlands, a hidden legacy flows silently through the veins of the inhabitants, a legacy carried from ancestors who once roamed Siberian valleys and dense tropical forests, a legacy that connects them to the Denisovans. These adaptive genes, quietly woven into human DNA, now surface in the capacity to thrive across diverse geographies, from the icy heights of the Himalayas to the humid forests of Southeast Asia, and even to the scattered islands of Oceania. Picture a family in a Himalayan village, tending to their livestock amid frost-tipped pastures, children running barefoot across narrow cliffside paths. They climb, work, and play with a resilience that seems natural, yet is extraordinary in the context of the extreme altitude. Far to the south, in the steamy jungles of Southeast Asia, farmers navigate rivers and dense undergrowth, their bodies equally attuned to environmental stresses. Across the vast waters of Oceania, island populations move with an ease born from a genetic inheritance that balances physical endurance, oxygen utilization, and metabolic efficiency. This is the footprint of Denisovan ancestry, stretching across continents and climates, demonstrating a genetic influence that is remarkably broad. Historical and anthropological evidence supports this geographic breadth. Skeletal remains, isotopic analyses, and population genetics reveal that modern human groups in these regions carry specific gene variants tracing back to Denisovans. These genes, once perhaps neutral or inconspicuous at lower altitudes or milder climates, became critical for survival in extreme environments. As human populations migrated, the intermixing of Denisovan DNA facilitated adaptation without waiting for entirely new mutations, allowing communities to establish themselves successfully across diverse terrains. Scientific examination of these populations uncovers fascinating physiological consistencies. Oxygen efficiency, blood flow regulation, and metabolic adaptations remain present not only in Tibetan highlanders but in scattered Southeast Asian and oceanic populations. The adaptive traits are geographically broad because survival pressures, whether hypoxia at high altitudes or heat and humidity in tropical forests, acted upon similar gene sequences, favoring those inherited from Denisovans. Every step taken along a mountain trail, every laborious harvest in dense forests, and every swim across island waters is supported by a legacy coded into human biology, silently enabling resilience where it would otherwise be improbable. This story also emphasizes the interconnectedness of human populations across space and time. Genes once localized in a distant ancestor now manifest in people thousands of kilometers apart, shaping the way humans respond to environmental extremes. As researchers map the distribution of these Denisovan-derived traits, a pattern emerges. Adaptation is not isolated but expansive, revealing the remarkable reach of ancestral DNA across geography. The narrative here is not only one of survival but of subtle, pervasive influence, showing how evolution threads together disparate populations into a shared story of endurance and adaptation. Even as the day wanes and the shadows of towering peaks stretch into valleys, this chapter of geographic influence gently concludes. The story flows naturally into the next exploration: evolutionary advantage through selection. Here, natural selection magnifies these Denisovan genes over generations, reinforcing their prevalence in extreme habitats, ultimately shaping populations like the Tibetans into embodiments of extraordinary adaptation. This seamless transition underscores that the influence of Denisovan ancestry is both widespread and enduring, guiding human evolution across continents and climates without interruption. High above the clouds, where the peaks of the Himalayas pierce the sky and the air is thin enough to make every breath feel like a gift, the story of human resilience quietly unfolds. Here, generations of Tibetans have lived for centuries, their bodies attuned to an environment that would challenge most. Yet, in every heartbeat, in every lungful of rarefied air, there is a testament to the subtle hand of natural selection, carefully amplifying genes inherited from their Denisovan ancestors. These are not just ordinary genes. They are adaptive tools honed over millennia that transform vulnerability into survival. Imagine a young Tibetan mountaineer preparing to scale a jagged ridge at dawn. Each step is demanding, yet her body responds with remarkable efficiency. Her hemoglobin carries oxygen more effectively, her blood vessels regulate pressure precisely, and her muscles endure where others would falter. This physical advantage did not emerge by chance. It is the cumulative effect of evolutionary selection acting on Denisovan genes over countless generations. Traits that once were neutral or inconspicuous became powerful instruments for thriving in extreme habitats. These genes, now almost universal among high-altitude populations, illustrate evolution's quiet, persistent shaping of human biology. Across the valleys, elders tell stories of ancestors who survived harsh winters and unpredictable storms, of communities that endured because their physiology allowed it. The narrative is not just myth, it is mirrored in scientific observation. Comparative genomic studies reveal a remarkable pattern. DNA segments inherited from Denisovans appear repeatedly in populations like the Tibetans, signaling that natural selection has favored these adaptive traits relentlessly. Here, evolution is not abstract. It is tangible in the way humans move, breathe, and live in places where survival is a daily challenge. Consider a climber ascending toward the top of Mount Everest, the ultimate extreme environment. Their body carries a legacy that enables them to cope with hypoxia, regulating oxygen efficiently through Denisovan-inherited pathways. This same legacy flows in villagers tending yaks thousands of feet below, in hunters navigating snowy plateaus, in children growing up where the air is thin and every heartbeat is precious. Evolution has sculpted these populations not through sudden leaps, but by amplifying advantageous genes over generations, turning inherited potential into practical, life-sustaining traits. Reflection reveals a deeper narrative. These genes illustrate the power of selection as a force shaping human history. Without them, entire populations might have struggled or failed to thrive at high altitudes. With them, survival becomes possible, even in the most inhospitable corners of the world. The story is not one of conquest over nature, but a quiet coalescence of biology and environment, a dance between inherited potential and the demands of extreme habitats. As sunlight spills over the peaks and warms the snow-capped ridges, this chapter gently transitions. The tale of evolutionary amplification leads naturally into the next lens of understanding. Evidence from genomic studies, where the intricate details of human and Denisovan DNA confirm the inheritance of these adaptive traits. Here, interbreeding is revealed not as mere historical curiosity, but as a crucial mechanism through which humans acquired the capacity to endure and excel in extreme environments. The narrative flows seamlessly, showing that evolution, inheritance, and survival are threads of a single, continuous story, shaping the human journey from past to present. In a quiet laboratory bathed in the soft hum of machines and the glow of computer screens, a story from the depths of time begins to unfold. Here, geneticists meticulously compare the intricate sequences of modern human DNA with that of the mysterious Denisovans, uncovering a hidden map of inheritance that stretches tens of thousands of years into the past. Each strand tells a story, a subtle narrative of adaptation, survival, and shared lineage that has quietly shaped our species. It is here, within these sequences, that we begin to see the remarkable legacy of interbreeding. Adaptive traits that allowed humans to thrive in extreme environments were not conjured overnight but were inherited, passed from one species to another, stitched delicately into our genome. Picture a high-altitude village in Tibet, where the mountains rise like frozen sentinels, their peaks brushing the clouds. The villagers, with every breath drawn in the thin air, carry within them genetic signatures of ancient Denisovans. Comparative genomic studies reveal specific segments of DNA, almost identical to those found in Denisovan remains, highlighting how these adaptive traits, efficient oxygen transport, improved cardiovascular function, and enhanced hemoglobin activity, have been preserved and amplified across generations. The science is clear. These traits were not a product of random chance. They were inherited through interbreeding, a deliberate dance of nature and opportunity that allowed humans to step boldly into extreme environments where survival was once uncertain. As we follow the story of a young woman traversing the Himalayan slopes, the connection between past and present becomes tangible. Her body, conditioned by millennia of inherited adaptations, responds effortlessly to the challenges of thin air, frigid winds, and steep terrain. This physiological advantage is a direct echo of those ancient genetic exchanges, a testament to the power of interbreeding as an evolutionary shortcut, transmitting life-sustaining traits without waiting for new mutations to emerge. The mountains around her are not merely obstacles, they are markers of human perseverance, written into the very code of her DNA. Across continents, similar narratives unfold. Populations in Southeast Asia, Oceania, and remote Siberian valleys carry the whispers of Denisovan genes within their cells. Comparative analysis illuminates the intricate web of genetic inheritance that facilitated survival across diverse and extreme habitats. These studies are more than academic exercises, they are windows into the profound ways in which our species has adapted, borrowing and blending traits to thrive where many would fail. Each genome sequenced, each trait traced, is a brushstroke in a vast canvas depicting the resilience of humanity. Reflection draws us to a humbling realization. Adaptation is a shared story, a communal legacy written across species boundaries. The interbreeding between modern humans and Denisovans was not mere coincidence. It was a pivotal mechanism that accelerated survival, allowing humans to inhabit the peaks, valleys, and dense forests that would otherwise have remained beyond reach. In every cell, in every breath, the echoes of this ancient partnership persist, reminding us that evolution is not a solitary endeavor but a tapestry woven from many threads, each strand carrying lessons from the past into the present. As the sun dips behind the Himalayas, painting the sky in hues of rose and gold, this chapter gently draws to a close. The story of adaptive inheritance through genomic interbreeding, of humans learning resilience from Denisovans, completes its arc, leaving behind a profound understanding of our shared biological heritage. And yet, while this chapter ends, it is but a moment in the larger saga of human survival and adaptation. Thank you for following this journey, for staying with the story from the frozen peaks to the hidden genes, and for exploring the depths of human history and adaptation. Your curiosity honors the tale that has been quietly unfolding for tens of thousands of years. May the insights inspire awe, reflection, and respect for the incredible journey our species has taken. Good night, and may the stories of our past continue to guide the paths of our future.